Hey everyone, welcome to another Reality Skewed Gamers roster review video. Now, if you don't know the way that we do these roster reviews, we have two types of roster reviews. One of them we do live with you guys in person. So if you requested a roster review, we set up a Skype meeting with you, we go over your roster, you can ask us questions, so you kind of get that interaction. The other way is that if you tell us that you want us just to review your roster, it may happen a little bit quicker, just because it's only one person. So we split up the people that requested roster reviews just to have it reviewed without being live. And myself, Finity, Ranger J 1999, and Grande Patron will split it up and review your rosters. So today we are looking at one of our longtime buddies, Vlad's roster. Now you'll see Vlad is part of the Naked Wookiee Army, and I know they represent a lot in our live streams, so shout out to the Naked Wookiee Army. Now, in talking with Vlad, one of the requests that he had was that we look at his arena team. He used to be able to hold in the top 50. Recently, he's been more in kind of the hundreds. So he's trying to figure out what to do with regards to his team. Let's go through some of the main characters you can build an arena squad around and see where they are in your roster. So the first one, which I know a lot of people try to move away from because he is kind of a common character that people use, is Rex. Now your Rex is definitely in good shape here. So your Rex is a 7-star and he is gear 10. So this is a solid character for you to potentially build a new arena squad around if you wanted to change it up completely. So we'll go through some different options as well. The next one are going to be your Jedi. So let's look at your different Jedi. You do have Qui-Gon Jinn and he is Zeta. So a Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn, and he is gear 11. So you have a 7-star gear 11 Zeta Qui-Gon Jinn. This is a solid character also to build a Jedi squad around. Now with your Jedi squad, you would want a character like Anakin, and your Anakin is also 7-star and gear 11. So you're in good shape with him. You can potentially use Yoda, and it doesn't look like you have the battle meditation. Yeah, so you don't have battle meditation done, but that's perfectly fine. Your Yoda is definitely one potential character that you can use, and you have him also gear 11 7-star. And for the rest of the squad, the Kenobi is another character, 6-star gear 10, definitely a solid character that you can potentially build around. And lastly, one that's not quite ready is going to be your Ezra Bridger. Now, Ezra is a major damage dealer. He is quite good on a Qui-Gon Jinn lead team. If you put him in the right squad, he will do a lot of damage. His basic attack, which gives him a chance to double, is really kind of nasty. And that's if he has no debuffs, he has a chance to double attack. And a lot of times, especially if you're facing a triple cleanse, there's not going to be a debuff on Ezra. So he is going to be kind of going crazy with the damage here. So if you're looking for a potential character to build mainly just for Arena, without consideration for the Luke event, then you are looking at Ezra as one potential build-up. The next character to look at will be kind of that little droid that has a role in a lot of different places, which is R2. Now your R2 is 7-star gear 9. He's a little bit behind on the gear. If you were going to use him, he is a solid character. You would want to get him to gear 10 at least, just to increase his survival a little bit. And I see that you have his number crunch Zeta, which is perfect. So this is the first Zeta that you want. You want to Zeta his number crunch. You can look at his combat analysis next. But you have number crunch ready. So R2 minus a little bit of gear here. So it looks like you're about 3 pieces away for him getting to gear 10. He is a potential character that you will want to gear up and to use in Arena. And he is also involved in the Luke process. So Commander Luke will require R2-D2, so that will help you there. And in kind of his design and the strategy that's listed, Luke is designed a little bit to synergize with R2-D2 as well. So having R2-D2 leveled up, geared, and maybe even adding another Zeta, although I'll wait on it for now until you see what Commander Luke has, R2-D2 is a solid character for you to work on and gear up. So those are just kind of the starting non-dark side characters. And so if you wanted to look at a potential switch to a light side team, you have a lot of possibilities here with your Rex, your Jedi, your General Kenobi. They're pretty set up in order for you to make a pivot in your arena. The next one, now we'll start looking a little bit more on the dark side. Now for the dark side, we'll start with the Sith. Now, you have your Vader, who's Zetaed, which is great. Sidious was a decent addition. Kind of like maybe in the early game, he had a role with his initial Zeta, but then things started to shift. Sidious has fallen out of favor for a lot of arena teams because he is too squishy even in his Zeta state. So, the next one is going to be Nihilus. Now, I see you have Nihilus. He is Gear 11 6-star. That is more than viable for Arena. He is a character that I would say you would want to build around pretty much immediately in order to change your fortunes in your arena. So Darth Nihilus is a character that you should consider inserting right now. Emperor Palpatine, not so much. He might have a use, but he's not all that great. At least in most squads. SWGOH, if you had him Zetaed, maybe he has a use. I wouldn't Zeta him right now though. There's other teams that work better without SWGOH. The character, if you wanted to run a dark side Zader team, the character you need to work on is Sith Assassin. This game is revolving around speed. The goal is to have your characters go first, so that you deal the brunt of damage, maybe even take out a character early. You can get that cooldown reduction from Darth Nihilus. Sith Assassin ends up being the key. And that's because of the Dark Shroud, because she will dispel all debuffs, and she will give Sith allies 10% turn meter for each buff on her. And this is after she already does this preemptive stuff. So she's going to get some buffs from her own ability. She might not get it from anywhere else, but that's fine because that gives you, even if she just gains stealth and foresight, then that's 2 buffs that she's getting, and that's 20% turn meter. So this is what you are thinking about in terms of creating more of a speed lineup with your Vader lead. So if you wanted to keep your Vader lead, you have to build up your Sith Assassin. 4-star, perfectly viable. She does more damage as you increase her star. But for the purposes of speed, the only thing you really need her to do with her is build up her gear. Get her gear as high as possible, minimum gear 10, preferably gear 11. Get her speed as high as possible. You will want her to be your highest speed character. So you can build a team then revolving around Vader, Sith Assassin, and Darth Nihilus. Let's also look at your Empire. So Sith and Empire do synergize a little bit, even though they may not just be like the perfect fit. So, again, just going through here, I see you have your TIE Fighter pilot at gear 11. He's a very fast character. He's way too much utility for the current arena kind of background and current environment in arena. He may have a use again at some point. He can potentially work out well depending on how the debuffs and everything work, but overall he's kind of fallen out of favor because his damage isn't as good. Death Trooper is another solid character you can potentially put into a squad, and you have him at gear 9, so you're getting close there. He's very kind of limited in his uses right now though. He is an arena character only. And if your focus is only on arena, he may be a good advancement. But someone like Sith Assassin, you can pretty much use around the game because the ability to give your other character speed is something that is useful everywhere in the game. So Sith Assassin, long term, may be a better investment than Death Trooper. But Death Trooper is a good call as well. And then looking kind of at the rest of them, the other character you will want to consider is Thrawn. Now, Thrawn's Fracture is something that is pretty deadly in most squads. And again, if you're running a Sith Assassin with a Darth Nihilus can potentially cooldown reduce a lot of characters that will allow even a slow Thrawn to go before any of the other characters use any special abilities. So I would say Thrawn is another character you may want to work on. He is a very solid character, even at 5-star, but obviously you need to get him to level 85, and you need to work on his gear, because obviously he's blue gear, and I believe this is gear 6 right now. So from the arena standpoint then, we've looked at the different characters. What are the different squads that you can build in order to change kind of your current fortunes in this game? So let's stick with kind of your current build. And actually one other character, I know people avoid it, so I try to avoid it because I don't know if they're happy about using them. It's Chirrut and Baze. And for the purposes of this, it does not look like you have Chirrut and Baze as options. So when we're looking at it, obviously they're good characters. They're ones that you may want to work on here. Your Chirrut is 5-star, level 50. So if you had him, it would be nice, but I do not see Baze. So without Baze, Chirrut is kind of, yeah. So keep on working on Baze. I'm assuming you're still working on him. So keep on working on Baze in the meantime. It looks like you have Chirrut ready if Baze goes. So we'll kind of go back here. So in terms of different character lineups that you can use with your current squad. Now, the first one is going to be a little bit, we'll stick with the Vader lead a little bit here. So it's not the most conventional, but it will work fairly well. It would be a Vader lead with a General Kenobi, a Darth Nihilus, a Sith Assassin, and then your 5th character can kind of vary. Now, ideally, you would want something like a Grand Admiral Thrawn. You could potentially do an R2 in order to kind of increase your survival. And then that would automatically stick it on General Kenobi as you're doing it. So that 5th spot has a little bit of variation. You could also do Kylo. But the only issue with Kylo in that team is if Kenobi ends up taunting, Kylo's not going to get hit. But from a defensive AI perspective, that may not be a bad thing. On the AI on defense with Kylo Ren, it uses his AoE ability more than it uses his single target special that can stun. So with Kylo, you would ideally, if you were using him, probably use Outrage, which is his single target damage with a chance to stun. That one you will use more than you will use Lash Out. So under a General Kenobi, or with a General Kenobi I should say, in the team, if Kylo is not getting attacked, the AI may be forced to use the Outrage more than the Lash Out, and that could actually be a potential good thing. So one potential squad then is a Vader lead with your Sith Assassin, your Darth Nihilus, General Kenobi, and then your Zeta Kylo Ren. Now, that's if you're sticking more with a dark side team. Your dark side team would also have a little bit more flexibility if you had Grand Admiral Thrawn, but Thrawn is much farther away than Sith Assassin, so I'm not really going to include him for now in the picture. But in looking at a light side squad, you have a couple of potential squads that you can use with light side. So the first one, because you don't have Chirrut and Baze, you could go with a Rex lead, your Zeta Kylo Ren, General Kenobi, Darth Nihilus, and then your R2-D2. Okay, and again, your R2-D2, just looking at your roster again, so we'll bring him up. He is going to be the one that you may need to build up just a little bit at Gear 9. If you can get him to Gear 10, that would make him a solid addition to the squad. So Rex lead, Zeta Kylo Ren, General Kenobi, Darth Nihilus, and R2-D2. That would be another potential squad for you based on just your current characters that you can do in your arena. So the next thing would be if you continued with your Jedi. Now your Jedi are fairly strong. You have some flexibility here in order to kind of create a decent squad. So your base for the characters would be a Qui-Gon Jinn as your lead, your Jedi Knight Anakin, and your General Kenobi. Now there are 2 spots left over. with your current makeup, the 4th spot would pretty much stick with R2-D2. Again, you'll want to try and get him to gear 10, but with him, if you have him as gear 10, he would be a solid 4th character no matter what. Then, for your 5th position, there are usually 3 possibilities you can use. The first one is Yoda, and your Yoda is ready to go. So I would put in your Yoda for now. The one that I tend to prefer in this squad, because the damage just ends up being ridiculous, is Ezra. So Ezra would be the one that I would say, if you want to keep with your Jedi squad, Ezra would be the one that you would want to focus on. And then the other possibility is Barriss, and you would have to Zeta her for her to be useful. Not someone I would recommend for you now. You have other options, but a Zeta Barriss is somebody you can stick into that 5th spot. Okay, so those are 3 different potential teams that I think would give you better results than what your current arena layout is. I hope that helps, at least from your arena point of view. I know that was one of the things you wanted to focus on. So if you have any questions, make sure you hop on the RSG Discord, and then obviously all of our roster reviews will be able to ask us questions after this is posted and after they see it. So we'll be there to help them, not just through this video, but then also on the Discord as well. If you are interested in a roster review, please make sure that you come onto the RSG Discord. The link is in the YouTube video description. And go ahead and message myself, Finity, and we'll put you onto the roster review. Just keep in mind that myself, Ranger, and Grande are all, we all have work and stuff as well, so we try to schedule you guys as much as we can, and we're trying to get through all of these. So just please bear with us, as we do have a queue for the roster review that is growing, and we're trying to get through all of these, so just please bear with us. And please make sure that you check out all of our other videos as well. We have our live streams on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. that go through all the current news in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. We have a question and answer session on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time. So make sure you check that out if you guys have any questions. And we have a large panel of YouTubers there as well, such as Warrior, Ramon Azab, Mike Hunt, Sir Loki, and Darth Bella. And especially if you have ship questions, Darth Bella is great for that, so definitely make sure you check that out. And we'll see you at the next roster review. Thanks, everyone.